What's going on, y'all, and welcome back to another Epic 7 video. Today, let's talk shop about Boss Arunka, the latest Moonlight 5-star character to arrive in Epic 7. And while we got a little summoning montage in the background, by the way, we did end up getting her, and I think around 40 to 50 Mystic summons total. Right, about 2,000 Mystics, I think, was the point we pulled her. So very grateful. I think I've pitied the last, no joke, guys, 8 or so Mystic banner characters, meaning 10,000 Mystics every time. I think that maybe sometimes it was like 9,500, 10 away from pity, but it's been rough. So very grateful we got Boss Arunka. Now I got plenty of Mystics to save for M.O.A.S, who I think will be coming out next. So let me know how your luck went. Good luck on your summons if you haven't pulled yet. And this video helps you decide that you do want to spend those Mystics on this amazing character. And yeah, one-stop shop, guys. We'll talk about everything from team compositions, artifacts, different builds, what kind of players want to run her in terms of play styles, and all of that good stuff. So enjoy. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let's just go ahead and jump straight into it. I'm going to start off, guys, by saying that the only reason you wouldn't want to pull for this character, I think, is because you find, tanky characters a little boring. Because let me just get this straight out of the way. Big spoiler, this character is absolutely broken, bonkers, overpowered, whatever you guys want to call it. She's extremely, extremely strong. I don't know if I would quite put her as like #1 in the game at the moment, because there's a lot of broken characters in Epic 7, but she's extremely good. And the nice thing about this character is she works in almost every type of playstyle and every type of game mode. I'm talking real-time arena, normal arena, guild wars, PvE, which I'll show you guys at the end. You can do some hunts with this girl. I think she's a great investment for new players. The only thing is, if you don't kind of jive with the whole very giga tanky playstyle, or honestly, this is another big one. If you're okay with your Moonlight character, especially if you're new, there's like the one character you pull for, she ends up getting banned quite a lot, both pre-bans and post-bans. I think I played like 30 games over the past 2 days, and over half of them she was either pre-banned or ended up getting post-banned, or my opponent was taking her from me. So it's very hard to play her at the moment. And this is, by the way, first insta-locking her any chance we can get. So understand she's very contested, and I think as the meta progresses, unless a hardcore counter comes out to her, she's going to be pre-banned a lot, post-banned a lot. She won't see, it's going to be hard for you to get her on the field because of just how strong she can be in terms of her kit, in terms of what she does. So just to quickly recap, as long as you guys are okay with the fact that Boss Arunka will get banned 99% of the time, pre-banned, post-banned, you still be able to get to use her a lot in PvE, Guild Wars, Arena, all that. And I did kind of mention that maybe you don't vibe with the tank down playstyle. Let me rephrase that. That's kind of just what the trend has been lately on day 1 and 2 of testing, but I've already seen players do amazing things with her in aggressive comps, in full-on cleave comps, and a lot of times you just want to take her because she still works in a lot of different playstyles, and you don't have to deal with her because I think she does hardcore counter those kind of, very, very fast and aggressive teams. So, yeah, without further ado, guys, this character is absolutely amazing. Let's talk all about her, different builds, and what I've discovered these past 2 days. Thank you for tuning in. Let's get to it. Now, here's the 2 builds I kind of tested over the past 48 hours or so. I did one full day of the full tank down build on the left-hand side here. This is going to be with artifacts like Noble Oath and Proof of Valor. Don't worry, we'll go more into that in detail after this. And then the right-hand side, we had a counter build with Rocket Punch. Now, unfortunately, guys, if you notice on my right-hand side builds here, for those of you that do want to do the Rocket Punch counter set build, hopefully you have a lot of gear that is just more suited for Arunka than I do. You really don't want to have a lot of speed, as y'all can see here. Left-hand side, I'm trying to stick as close to base speed as I can. Right-hand side, I got like almost 40 plus speed, just because the gear that I have has kind of rolled that way. It's really unfortunate. But you can make up a lot of stats. I've seen some Arunkas pushing 4,000 defense with like 20k health. But I would try to suggest, if you guys do want to play and climb higher up in real-time arena especially, try to get immunity set on both. I know it's tempting to go something like defense set especially, but immunity, I think more and more so in real-time arena, is just a must-have. It's really going to protect your Arunka on that first turn opening, especially versus faster and aggressive enemies that want to like either defense breaker, blow her up. It just cuts off a lot of annoying situations. And not only that, I think not just for Boss Arunka, but I think the meta just in general, immunity is coming back big time and almost a must-have if you plan to play seriously. Now, if you're kind of just dabbling, don't worry too much. If your set is either like health or defense on alongside counter, you're okay with it too. I would recommend trying to get around 100 ER builds on either. And if you're on Noble Oath, like I was on the left-hand side, try to get even higher effect resist, as you'll get you know, more bonuses via the artifact. But overall, I think these are the two major archetypes that kind of work for her. Once again, to recap, left-hand side, just very, very tanky, guys. We want to maximize the amount of, just make Arunka a mountain, a wall that is unsurmountable. And then right-hand side here, we have the more damaging build, which is still very tanky. You know, we're sacrificing about 5k defense on my build, 5,000 health, and then about 200 defense. A little bit of VR, but it's negligible. Honestly, if I could get the right-hand side build optimized how I like, I think I would prefer to keep the counter immunity, or sorry, the counter rocket punch build, but that's personal preference. A lot of times I draft in a way where I might be lacking damage, so Arunka being able to pop units with the counter set with the rocket punch is nice. There's kind of pros and cons of each, and we can go into them here right now. By the way, guys, if you have some cracked Arunka builds you want to share, show off, please stop by the live streams. I've had a lot of y'all stop by and say hi, so if I've met you this week, it was a pleasure to have y'all around. Learned a lot, talked a lot, and it's just been good time. So yeah, make sure y'all stop on if you have the chance. Overall though, guys, let's go jump into the skill enhancements where we talk about the artifact selection, and it's super simple. This is a unit you want a plus 15, but let's say you're new or you're strapped for resources. If you're on the tank build like I am right now, you can definitely skip a lot of stuff here. The damage isn't too important. I would try to keep the effect chance here to make that 75% defense break. Not only is that very important, but don't forget the soul burn too can definitely finish off units if you have a high attack unit you're ready to pull with that duel. S2, I would try to max this out or at least get the first few here. Cost-effective M.O.A.S, because combat readiness is super important for her. And then skill 3, this is probably the one if you're on the full tank build. You can definitely just sack a lot of it, as we're not too worried about her being a damage dealer. Now, the fact that if you go rocket punch, she starts pumping out some serious numbers with the defense scaling artifact. I would go ahead and just max out everything because every bit will matter there, and she can definitely do some damage, clean up some enemies, and definitely land some KOs all on her own. All right, so artifacts for the tank build. I talked about Noble Oath. This is just something I tried, something I did really enjoy. As the more the match progresses and she loses some health here, the tankier will become, which is a little bit of a confusing statement. Because if you think about effective HP with health and defense together, then of course, right, our health is getting lower, but our defense is going up, which means we'll do more damage. And another nice thing too is the effect resist, which is why I think for Noble Oath, you want to make sure your health is higher and your effect resist a little bit higher than the counter rocket punch style builds. If you don't have Noble Oath maxed or don't think it's really worth it for you, maybe your health is a little bit on the lower end, but you want to stay tanky, go ahead and just grab something like Proof of Valor, which I talked about. I got too many dang artifacts here, but you guys know what it does. If you don't, here, we're about to go over it. PR right here. Damage reduced, taken. Don't forget though, guys, that this will scale down, as well as only one effect will take place. So another nice thing about the Noble Oath is that if you have a secondary knight that has either damage mitigation like Crimson Armin, Green Armin, you have an Adamant Shield lying around somewhere, things like this can help. Now, Proof of Valor will stack with Ori, so I think for a lot of y'all that play tanky, having a second knight that will absorb damage from Boss Arunka, and I've been liking units such as not Ilinov, surprisingly, because Rise of the Monarch is so powerful on her. I've actually stopped bringing her with Arunka too much, but definitely still a match made in heaven. Boss Arunka and Ilinov work great together. I just want a knight that has sort of some more mitigation, so I've been leaning towards units like Adventurer Roz, Fallen Cecilia for any time there's any type of fixed damage, or if you need that full strip. The new buffs that this girl got was amazing. And then additionally, you have units, classic units like Tywin. Maybe there's some debuffs coming around. But anything that can kind of share some damage with her is definitely welcome and will make her insanely tanky nature. It'll make her last even longer. So I would highly suggest trying that if you haven't. Now, if you play a little more aggressive or don't want to bring a second knight, the counter Rocket Punch build can work too. And let me go ahead and talk about that real fast. You guys saw the stat line. Just make sure you get counter set. Still try to get immunity and 100 resist or more if you can. I know that could be tight depending on your imprints, depending on how new and your gear is. But Rocket Punch itself, you can be hitting for some decent numbers here. I remember hitting for quite a bit, sometimes even like up to 10k. S3 is going to hit like a truck as well. It's honestly very nice damage, and in some scenarios she can definitely 1v4. I'm not even joking. So Rocket Punch counter build is definitely very viable, very solid as well. I think it just comes down to a playstyle difference, whether you want to make her extremely tanky or have her do some damage on her own. Now, there's one thing I do want to talk about, guys, in terms of Rocket Punch. Just a quick PSA. I'm sure you've heard some other content creators talk about it, but in case you haven't, I did have a few people stop by the live stream like I was mentioning. talk about, is this banner worth it? Class Summon Knight, guys. I did do a few pulls here just to show people that it's not worth it. And the reason it's not worth it, guys, is because the pity on this Class Summon Knight, of course, does not give you the artifact M.O.A.S, okay, which is the new Rocket Punch. It's an Epic 7 IP original Rocket Punch, which I think is cool, but I don't think Smilegate did a great job of making this banner worth your while. If you're free to play, if you're new, do not spend it. Obviously, I have like 4,000 covenants because all I do is shop refresh lately. So I won't hurt too much if I want to try to fish for this. Just understand that with no pity, and so many off-banner artifacts, so even when you see a 5-star artifact pop, there's a high chance that it is not going to be, you know, the one you want, the M.O.A.S. So be very careful. I would highly suggest to just buy one in the powder shop, which I'll show you guys right now, and then call it a day, all right? You may want more later, but maybe it'll come back in a second run, but I would suggest to hold your bookmarks for Renac, maybe a future collab. And this is mostly just if you're free to play, all right? So go ahead and pick one up and then call it a day. One last final note, guys. I did mention that she can work for PvE, so for new players, the investment is even more worth your time. Here's just a quick showcase of her working with Fenny. Now, I do have some pretty good gear here, but, you know, don't bring just 2 units. We're just highlighting that she's kind of tailor-made for a lot of PvE encounters because of how tanky she is and because of how her kit works, plus the defense breaks. Absolute monster unit for PvE as well. So I think, guys, no-brainer. Pull this unit. Absolutely worth your time. Yeah, and enjoy. Good luck. Hopefully get her before pity. And thank you so much for watching, everybody. I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace out.